Welcome to this morning's Body Rejuvenate. Welcome to today's Body Rejuvenate. Today we are going to do some energy techniques to help create more energy flow in our bodies. We'll also do some releases and stretching to relieve low, to work with our low back and also release our hip flexors and to open up our chest and work on our upper back muscles and also on our neck. So we will be doing energy techniques. Your sensory organs are in your hands and your feet, and we'll do a lot of hand and foot work. We'll also use small balls. So if you don't have a small ball, I did a little experiment with just some socks, and I just took some footies and I put one footie inside another, and then just rolled it up and tucked it inside to create a small ball. And so if you don't have a racquetball, two racquetballs, or you don't have two tennis balls, you could always take two pairs of socks and do that. Another thing that you might want is I have some throw pillows to elevate my hips when we sit. You could use a rolled up towel, or you could also use a foam roller, a half foam roller, a full foam roller if you have one. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we'll just begin by standing with our feet about hip distance apart, and just stand as tall as you feel comfortable. And you don't want to feel any stress in your back. Just lift up through the crown of the head and try to have your chin parallel to your collarbone, and close your eyes gently and just feel the weight of your feet pressing into the ground. And then we're just going to rock forward and back. So as you rock forward, you might feel your body sway forward, and then as you rock back, you might feel the back of your body catching you to keep you from pulling off balance. If you can, have your eyes closed in this as we do this, but if you need to open your eyes, open your eyes. Our eyes closed just helps to awaken our sensory organs and just bring our awareness to where we are. And then we're just going to center our feet up. And then we're going to just shift our weight side to side. So just shift to the right, shift to the left, shift to the right, and shift to the left. And just with your eyes closed gently if you can, just let your hands hang down by your side. And just breathe evenly. Now, as we go through this, we're just going to, as we do our shift, we're going to start shifting our weight forward into the front of our feet, into our toes, and then shift the weight out to the sides and then back. So it's as if your body's going in a small little circle, creating a circle with your body in one direction. Again, if you can do this with your eyes closed, do it with your eyes closed. But if you feel like you're losing your balance, just open your eyes. Our eyes help us with our balance. They're the windows to our balance. And so with our eyes closed, it just helps work on our central nervous system a little bit more and helps us with our balance and helps us with our proprioception, and so knowing where our body is in space and being able to catch ourselves if we start falling. And then let's go the other direction. But if you need to have your eyes open, by all means, have your eyes open. And we're just going to go in the other direction. And you can do this with your eyes closed or open. As we're going through these techniques, you may feel that you're starting to warm up a little bit. And then bring it back to center. Now we're going to bend our knees real slight and then round your back into a forward fold. So I'm just going to the side so you can see me. So I'm not going with a flat back, I'm just rounding. You can have your forearms on your knees or above your knees, not on your knees, but right above your knees on your thighs. You can have your hands down on your lower legs. If it's comfortable for you, you can let your arms just hang, but try to stay in that C curve, so a round back, a cat back, so that you're not putting any stress on your low back. And then one knee at a time, just open up one knee at a time. Exhale as you open the knee up. So you're just going to press back with the back of the knee to open up. And you might feel tension in the hamstring muscle, maybe even in the calf muscle, maybe a little bit in the low back. But as you do this, you don't want to feel any sharp pain You just want to feel a slight discomfort, tension in the muscle as you open up the back of the muscle. This is our first opening series of the session. So, it's not about how far open your leg gets. You just listen to your body and just open to your ability. And then keeping that round back, we're going to roll up one vertebra at a time, and we're going to roll our shoulders back and come up to a nice standing position. Now, we're going to take our balls or either your rolled up socks. So I'm going to start off with the rolled up socks. I'm just going to place one underneath my foot and the ball of the foot, and the other foot's going to step back, and I'm just going to rock real gently into the ball of that foot. So I'm just going to rock into the ball of the foot. So I'm just rocking my weight forward and back. And then I'm going to walk the arch of my foot up to my sock or my ball, and I'm going to lock my foot into the ball or the sock, and I'm going to have my heel down and my toes are up, and then as my foot comes forward, my toes may come to the ground. If you have a ball, you might not be able to get your toes to the ground. With a sock, it's going to be a little bit more pliable than a ball. And then I'm going to put my toes on the floor and position the ball just right under the top of my heel. So imagine that this is above my foot, right there at the top of my heel, this closest to the center of my foot. I say your heel's like an egg shape, so right at the top of that little egg shape. And I'm just going to pump down and up. And I'll do one more. And then I'm going to step off of the ball or my sock, and I'm going to close my eyes gently and just let my feet rest underneath my hips, and close your eyes gently. And the side that you just massaged with that ball or with the sock, just compare how that bottom of that foot feels to the bottom of the other foot. And compare how your ankle joints feel from side to side. One might feel open, one might feel a little bit closed and up into your calves. And just compare how each side feels. And also compare your knee joints and see how your knee joints feel. If one feels a little different than the other, one may feel a little bit more open, a little bit more pliable, a little bit less stiff. And then compare your thighs, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs. Just compare how the muscles feel in your legs from side to side. And then bring it up into your hips and your buttocks. And just compare how your body feels there. You can have your eyes open or closed. Sometimes with the eyes closed, it helps us just be able to compare a little bit better, to be able to focus in on those areas that we're really concentrating on. And then bring your attention into your low back area, that area right above your buttocks, and compare how that feels. And then just gently open your eyes. And if you can, we'll go back to the comparison. We're going to do the other foot. So we're going to take the ball of the other foot onto the sock, and with our foot that we just did the massage on, we're going to step back with it, and we're just going to rock forward and back into that sock. So just rock your weight forward and back. So as we do these comparisons, you might have a hard time going back and remembering how you felt during your first comparison. But as we go through this practice, and you do this practice over and over again, you'll begin to really feel a difference in those comparisons. Now let's take the arch of the foot up onto the sock or the roller and just rock forward and back. And so we're just rocking forward and back, just fluidly. And the toes, as you rock forward, may come down to the ground or they may not. Depends on how big your ball is and how pliable your surface is that you're rolling on. So it could be your sock. Mine's a little bit pliable, so it allows me to bring the toes down. If I was on the ball, I wouldn't be able to bring my toes down. Now let's put the toes on the floor with the top of that heel, so the top of the egg on the sock. So then we're going to just rock forward and back. And just waking our bodies up. You might feel tingling. You might feel your hands getting warm as we go through this series. You may not. Everybody's different and every day is different. So if you're new to this, you might not be feeling it at all. And then we're going to take that ball away from us. We're going to stand and close our eyes gently. And then we're going to compare side to side how our feet feel, the bottoms of our feet. And if you can go back to that first comparison we did after we did the ball underneath the first foot, see if you may be able to tell a difference. You might not. Compare your ankle joints and see how your ankles feel. And then let your tension come up into your calves and compare how your calves feel one to the other. One might feel a little bit tighter than the other. One may feel a little bit looser than the other. Or when you did your first comparison, one might have felt tight, one might have felt loose, and now they might feel exactly the same. So you just make note of if there's any changes in how your body feels. And then bring your tension up into your knee joints and just compare one knee to the other and see how your knee joints feel. You might feel like your weight's distributed evenly between your knee joints, or you might feel like one is a little bit congested or maybe pressing down real strongly into the lower leg, the upper bone into the lower bone, or they may feel open. Those joints may feel open. Bring your attention up into your thighs, the front of your thighs, the back of your thighs. And just, if you can remember your comparison before, just take a moment to compare and see how your legs feel, if they feel more even, or if the sensations are different from leg to leg. And then bring your attention into your hips, your buttocks, and see if you feel any difference muscle from one side to the other. And then bring your attention up into your low back and just compare how your low back feels. Side to side, one side might feel tight, one side might feel a little bit less tight. If you have pain in your low back, one side's painful, one side may not be. They might feel the same. If they feel different in that first comparison, make a note of that. If they feel the same now, make a note of that. And then gently open your eyes. Now again, we're going to do that forward fold. So we're going to bend our knees and we're going to round our back into our C curve and bring our hands either to our thighs. Make sure you're staying in your C, you're not flattening your back out, or bring your hands down to your shins. If it's okay for you, you can let your arms just hang, but make sure that your shoulders are not drawing up towards your ears or keeping your shoulders down away from your ears. So even though we're doing our forward fold, we're staying connected with our shoulders, and we're making sure our shoulders aren't just shrugging up to our ears. We're keeping our neck open, and that will help us. You'll feel your abdominals contract a little bit more as you draw your shoulders down away from your ears when we're in this rounded back. This is contracting our abdominals and stretching our back muscles. Now let's open up the back of one knee and then open up the back of the other knee. And then if you can remember back a few minutes ago when we first got started, as we started our journey this morning, how your legs felt as you were opening up the back of the knees, and how the hamstrings felt and the low back felt, maybe even in your calves. Just compare that and make a note of whether this is done with a little bit more ease or if it feels exactly the same. So hopefully we've opened up those energy pathways a little bit to allow the muscles to extend and contract a little bit more freely and more evenly. And remember you're staying in your C curve as we do this. So your back is like in a cat back. It's rounded. And then just hold it there. And then let's roll up one vertebra at a time as we come up. So now we're going to do some hand work. So I want you to grab your balls or your socks, whichever you have, and you're just going to hold your hands down by your side. Look down at your feet and try to make sure that your big toes are lined up evenly with each other. your shoulders up over your hips. You're just standing comfortably, and you're going to close your eyes gently and then just squeeze your balls. So squeeze your balls with all 10 of your fingers. Squeeze those balls, just squeeze and release, 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 squeeze and release. Now bring your hands up in front of your shoulders and squeeze and release the balls, and make sure that you're not locking your elbows out. Make sure that your shoulders are down away from your ears. Squeeze and release. If you feel compression in your low back, you could step your feet out. So never feel like you're stuck in a position. If you start feeling uncomfortable, then just position yourself to where you feel comfortable. And then we're going to bring the arms all the way overhead. So you go to as far overhead as is comfortable for you. You don't have to have your hands all the way up to the sky. Make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears. Squeezing and releasing the ball the whole time. And then we're going to take our arms out to a T and squeeze and release. And you might start feeling your energy really starting to flow and pump as we do this. Take your shoulders down away from your ears. You know, sometimes when we do our body rejuvenation in the studio, it might seem a little slow and that we're not really doing much movement, but we're doing some important things, activating our central nervous system, stimulating our central nervous system, and bring it down. Now take your hands behind you. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me, but you just stay right where you are, and we're going to have our hands behind us, and we're going to squeeze and release our balls. But as we go through this series, we have found that our energy starts awakening and starts rising, and we begin to feel warm. Sometimes we begin to get super hot, even just doing this hand and footwork. Now we're going to take our arms up overhead and reach our hands back towards the diagonal. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me, and we're going to squeeze and release the ball. So you're going to reach back as far as is comfortable from you. Your shoulders are going to be way down away from your ears. And you're just squeezing and releasing the balls. And then we're going to bring it back here. We're going to take our hands and we're going to cross across our body, and we're going to reach back like we're trying to reach around our body and hug ourselves all the way around, trying to grab the back of your waistline and squeeze and release the balls. Shoulders down away from the ears. Neck is long. I'm just turning to the side so you can see me. So you don't have to turn side to side as we go through this, but I want you to be able to see where your hands need to be. And last squeeze, and you're going to bring it up. We're going to reach our arms back, and we're going to squeeze and release. So we're doing 10 squeezes and release, approximately. I don't know. We're all probably moving at different paces. And then we're bringing our arms down, and we're going to try to cross over the opposite way. So you might not remember which way you crossed. So if you don't, it's okay. And right here, we're going to reach back like we're trying to reach all the way around our body with our hands. So remember, you don't have to turn side to side. I'm just turning to the side so you can see me. And we do one more of those. Now we're going to take our hands and we're going to reach back again, just like we did before. And it's like your hands are at an A position. Your body's in an A with your hands out wide. And your arms are behind you. So your hands are behind you. And you're squeezing and releasing the balls. And then we're going to bring our arms up. And you're going to bring your elbows up in front of your face. And you're going to reach your hands back here. So I'm turning to the side so you can see me, so you don't have to keep turning side to side. You're just going to reach your hands up and back. And then again, you're going to take your hands back behind you and squeeze and release. So your arms are at an A. And then you're going to come up and you're going to cross over the other arm over the one that was on the top before. But if you don't remember, it's not a big deal. I'm not cueing you on that. This is our first session of doing this together. So As we go through this series, as we meet again, we'll change it up a little bit. I'll give you a little bit more cues. A lot to think about though. And just continue to squeeze and release, and then release your arms down. Now we're just going to place our balls down, or your socks, whatever you're using. And I'm going to turn to the side again. And again, you don't have to turn to the side, but I am, so you can see me. We're going to round our back into a C, bend your knees, and go into that cat back forward fold. So we're keeping that cat back. And remember, your shoulders are down away from your ears. Lift your toes, and then extend and bend your knees one at a time. So just one leg at a time. And pay attention to how your body feels as we're doing this. If you can go back to the first time we did it this morning, go back to that and see if you can remember how your body felt as you were doing that extension and release. I know for me, my hamstrings felt super tight. They didn't really want to open up very much. My low back didn't want to release. And it's a little bit looser, a little bit more pliable as we've been going through this series. And let's do one more on each leg. So one more on each leg, making sure you're in your C and your shoulders are down away from your ears. So even though we're in this rounded back, your shoulders are down away from your ears. Roll up one vertebra at a time and roll your shoulders back. Good. So now, if you need to hold onto a chair or the wall, you can do that. You're going to take your one foot out and you're going to point your toe. You're going to reach back towards the corner behind you, and then you're going to flex your foot across. And your arms are just going to do whatever. Don't worry about where they are. Reach your toe out. You'll do your glute squeeze on this side, and then you're going to flex your foot across, and then you're going to reach your toe out, and you're going to flex your foot across, and reach out, and flex across, and do one more. Reach out, and flex across. Woo, I lost my balance there. So that can happen. And then put that foot down and look at your foot. Make sure it's lined up with the other foot so your big toes are lined up together. Your feet don't have to be together, but just make sure the tops of your toes are lined up. Take the other leg out, reach back, squeeze that glute, and then flex across. And reach back and flex across. And you can see the sun coming up on my wall. The sun's shining in through my door on this beautiful morning. And let's do one more. And last one, flex across. And then just place that foot down and look at your toes and try to make sure that the tops of your toes are lined up. Over time, you'll get where you'll just stand evenly with the tops of your toes lined up. But if you haven't been doing this kind of practice for a while, or you haven't done it before, it might not happen, okay? So over time, it will happen, though. Your body will just automatically know where to go. You're going to take this foot, and you're going to come back, and you're going to flex your foot, and then you're going to swing it around and tap the toe to the front. So you're going to bring it back, flex, and then bring it around and tap, and flex, and bring it around and tap, and flex, and bring it around and tap. And we're going to do one more of those, flex, and bring it around and tap. So then we're going to stand and look down at your toes and make sure your foot's lined up. So mine wasn't. So I got it lined up now. And then we're going to do the other leg. So we're going to flex, and then we're going to come around and tap, and we're going to flex, and come around and tap, and we're going to flex, and come around and tap, and flex, and come around and tap. And we're going to do one more of those, flex, and come around and tap. And then we're going to lay our foot down. So now we're going to take one arm up, and the other hand is going to come to the outside of the thigh, and we're just going to slide this outside of the hand down. So the only reason our body is hinging over to the side is because we're sliding that hand down the thigh, and that's what's initiating the movement. And you're just going to go to your range of motion, whatever feels comfortable for you. Try to keep your shoulders open. Try not to round forward. We're going to try to stay open. Push your shoulder blades back. Press down real firmly with both feet. Lift your toes up off the ground and wiggle your fingers. I call this tickle spider. When my son was little, he was a baby, an infant, and a toddler. I would do tickle spider with him, and you might have done that with your kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews. And then we're going to bring this hand down, and in order to come back up, we're going to slide this hand down our thigh. So slide that hand down your thigh and reach up and over. So the only thing that's moving us is this hand sliding down the thigh, so that's going to take us to our safe range of motion. And then we're going to take our shoulders back as if our shoulder blades are against the back wall, flat. And then we're going to do tickle spiders, so wiggle those fingers. And you'll feel a nice stretch through the side. You might feel a nice contraction on this side. You'll feel a nice stretch through this side. Hopefully it's a nice stretch anyway. And then we're going to bring this arm down. So we're always going to move with the hand, allow those hands to move us. And we're going to slide up and slide down and reach. And then we're going to wiggle those fingers. So remember, if your hand comes down to your knee, you want to support yourself either above the knee or below the knee, but not right on that knee joint. We never want to put any pressure on any of our joints. Make sure your shoulders are back against the wall. So the shoulder blades, imagine that the wall is right behind you and your shoulder blades are flat against that wall. And you'll feel that open up the side of the body. So now bring that hand down to the thigh, slide it down to bring yourself back up and over to the other side. You're just sliding down the thigh with that arm. Bring this arm up and over and wiggle those fingers. Again, shoulder blades against the wall. Feeling a nice stretch through the body. Side of the body, you might feel a contraction in the side that's bending, a stretch in the side that is extending. And bring that hand down. And one more time, we're going to slide down. Bring it up and over. Remember, you go to your range of motion where you need to be. Shoulders back. You could look down. I forgot to tell you that. You could always look down for your neck. You don't have to look straight ahead. Wiggle those fingers. Shoulder blades back. And bring that hand down. And allow the hand to slide down the thigh, up to the other side, reach up and over, and wiggle those fingers. So remember, you go to your range of motion and make sure the back of your shoulder blades are pressing back. But as you go to your range of motion, you listen to your body where it needs to go. My body is pretty flexible. So it likes to go, it can go deep into a stretch and then bring the hand here and slide it up. But I have found that using our hands as a guideline on our thighs helps us to go into our range of motion that we need to go into. Now you're going to take this hand to the back of the thigh and you're going to slide down the back of the thigh and reach this arm up. So you only go as far as back as comfortable for you and then do your tickle spider. So if you're feeling compression in your back, just bring yourself up a little bit. You don't have to go back so far. You'll feel the front of the body opening up. And then very slowly bring yourself up. Take this hand down to the thigh. Slide the fingers down towards the knee. Then not to the knee, but just towards the knee. And then do your tickle spider with that top hand. Pay attention to your low back. You don't want to feel any compression. You want to feel contraction. But if you're feeling pinching or pain, then you're going too deep. Just lighten it up a little bit. Now bring that hand down and bring yourself up and slide down the leg towards the knee and wiggle those fingers. Pressing your feet into the ground, lift your toes, and then I'll help you press back into your heels, the bottoms of your heels. And then bring yourself up, and we're going to do the other side. We're going to slide down, and we're going to wiggle these fingers. So just waking the whole back up. Remember, pay attention to your back. You're not feeling any compression in the back. You're just feeling contraction through your low back. So no pinching. Now bring this hand here. Bring it to your thigh, front of your thigh. And you're going to slide your hand downward on the front of the thigh. This hand is going to reach towards the opposite corner. So the opposite front corner. And you're only going to slide down as low as is comfortable for you. Round your back as you slide your hand down. So you're not flattening your back out. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So I'm rounded. This hand is reaching towards the opposite corner. And then I'm going to wiggle my fingers. So make sure you're in a round back as you do that. And then slide the hand back up the thigh. And we're going to switch arms. So this hand's going to come to the front of the thigh. We're going to slide the hand down, reaching the arm overhead. It's going to reach towards the opposite corner to the front. Reach, reach, reach. Round your back into a C. You'll feel it stretching the sides of your body. You might feel it stretching the back. Lift your toes. Push back with your heels. So you don't have to turn to the side. I'm just turning to the side so you can see me doing a C curve. And then we're going to slide that hand back up the thigh. We're going to switch hands, reach to the opposite corner as we slide down the thigh. Remember, if you're coming to the knee joint, you're not going to press into the knee joint. You're going to support yourself above the knee joint or below the knee joint. Round the back into a C, wiggle those fingers. And then slide back up. And switch arms. Slide down. Reaching the hands forward. Wiggle those fingers. And then we're going to slide back up. And we're going to do that one more time. We're going to reach those hands forward. Reach the hand forward, slide down the thigh, round the back into a C. Make sure that you're protecting your low back in that C curve. Make sure you're not locking your knees out. And then we're going to slide all the way back up. And we're going to do that one more time. We're going to slide down, reaching the fingers towards the corner. And we're going to wiggle our fingers. And then we're going to bring ourselves all the way back up. And we're going to turn and face the front. We're going to bend our knees. Well, we didn't have to turn and face the front. I told you not to turn. So I'm going to turn and face the front. I'm going to bend my knees and I'm going to round my back into that C curve that we've done before. I want you to close your eyes gently. Your hands can rest on your thighs. They can rest on your lower legs, or they can rest towards the ground, whatever works for you. And then make sure you're in that C curve so your back is rounded. So I'll turn to the side so you can see me. In my C curve, my back is rounded. My shoulders are down away from my ears. They're not shrugging up towards my ears. And then open and close one knee at a time. So extend one knee and bend the other one. So extend and bend. And just pay attention to how your body feels. And see if you can compare. If you can, close your eyes as you're doing this. Close your eyes and compare how your body feels one side to the other. If your body's moving with a little bit more ease as we open and close those legs. If your back is a little bit more open through that low back, through the gluteal muscles. You're rounding your C curve though, so that you're protecting that low back. You're not flattening the back out. And let's just do one more of those extensions and bending each knee, and then roll up real slowly. And roll your shoulders back. So now we're going to go down to the ground. We're going to bring ourselves to our hands and our knees. And we're just going to take our hips side to side. So you're just going to rock your hips side to side. So if you needed to, you could double your mat up. You could put a towel underneath your knees, whatever feels best for your body. And we're going to do one more, side to side. And then we're going to round our back into a cat back. And then we're going to extend our back into a flat back. And then we're going to go to cow back. So we're going to lift our chest up. You're going to keep your chin parallel to your collarbone. So you want to try not to lift your chin here. You're just going to lift up through the crown of the head by lifting your heart. And then we're going to go cat back. So cat back. So as we go to cat back, think about your shoulder blades. They're spreading apart. And then as we go to our cow back, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your heart up to the sky. And then go to your cat back. And then go back to your cow back. So squeeze the shoulder blades together to go to your cow back, lifting your heart up, not lifting your chin, lengthening the back of the neck. And go back to cat back, spread your shoulder blades apart. And back to your cow back. And then release. Now, we're just going to go over onto our backs. We're going to do a little bit of neck work. So on our backs, you can see in my studio, my office, the sun is coming in super, super bright. You're going to lie down on your backs, and we're going to turn our heads side to side. And then think about your shoulders down away from your ears. My shoulders had shrunk up to my ears, so just shoulders down away from your ears. And one more. Bring it back to center. Now tuck your chin to your collarbone, and you'll feel the back of your neck lengthen. And then lift your chin. So tuck your chin, and then lift your chin, and tuck, and lift. And let's do two more. And lift. And let's do one more. And lift. Now, your chin's going to be parallel to your collarbone. You're going to turn your face to one side and just hold it there. And then tuck your chin to your shoulder and then lift back up. And tuck your chin to your shoulder and lift back up. And do one more of those and lift back up. And then bring it back to center. And then turn your face to the other side and tuck your chin and lift back up. And tuck your chin and lift back up. And tuck your chin and lift back up. Bring it back to center. Now let's open our arms out to a T. We're going to bring one knee up and we're going to cross it across the other leg. And we're just going to rotate across and try to keep your shoulder blades flat as you do this. And then turn your face in the other direction. And then bring it back to center. And we're going to do that again. So take the knee across, turn your face in the opposite direction. And bring it back up to center. And let's do that one more time. Take your knee across, turn your face in the opposite direction. And bring it back to center. Now, we're going to keep the legs exactly the same. We're going to take our knees to the other direction and turn our face in the opposite direction. So we're just going in the opposite direction that we went before. And then bring it back up to center. And then we're going to do that again. Same direction. So face turns away from the knees. Knees drop away from the face. And then bring it back up to center. And we're going to do that one more time. So turn the opposite direction. and then release back to center. So now we're going to switch legs. So we're going to cross the other leg over, and we're going to take it across in the direction we just went in, and turn your face in that same direction you just went in, and then bring it back up to center, and then turn away. And bring it back up to center. And let's do that one more time. Turn away, so drop the knee over, face turns in the opposite direction, shoulder blades stay on the ground. So if your shoulder blade starts lifting, then you're just twisting a little bit too much, and bring it back to center. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction, so the knees are going to drop the opposite way, the face is going to turn in the opposite way. So remember, those shoulder blades stay totally flat. If your shoulder blades start lifting, bring it back to center. That's an indication you're going too deep into the stretch. And let's just go over again. Turn your face in the opposite direction. That's a good way to keep yourself safe. Just keeping the shoulder blades flat and not twisting so much that they're lifting. Bring it back to center. And let's do one more time. And bring it back to center. And then put both feet down. And then we're just going to roll over on one side and bring ourselves up. And we're going to use our, if you need to have your hips elevated, you could sit on the floor here, but it just feels better for me. My hips will open up a little bit more if I elevate my hips. So I'm going to use my pillows. If you have a rolled up towel, beach towel, if you have a foam roller works, whatever you have that allow you to sit comfortably. If it's not comfortable for you to sit in this crisscross applesauce position, you could always take your feet here, or you could even bring your legs forward. So you find what feels best for you. And we're going to be here. Just opening up those hips. So just if you have one foot in front of the other, pay attention to which foot's in front of the other. Bring your arms out. We're going to flex and point our hands. And then we're going to take our arms up to the sky, and we're going to flex and point our hands. And then we're going to take our hands down into that, remember that A we were in before, reaching our hands back like we're in an A position, making an A with our arms, and flex and point. And bring it back to center. Now the foot that's in front, swap it out. Let the other foot be in front. Bring your arms out to the side and flex and point your hands. And then bring your arms all the way up and flex and point. Make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears. It's real easy to shrug those shoulders up when we reach overhead. And then we'll bring our arms down to an A and flex and point. Flex and point. And bring it back to center. Now switch your feet again, like musical chairs. And grab your balls or your socks. Hold on to them with your hands. Bring your arms out. Squeeze the balls. Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, bring your arms up to a V and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then bring your arms down to an A and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So you're reaching those hands behind you. And then bring it back to center. Now switch your feet again. And we're going to do that one more time with the balls, out to a T and squeeze and release. And then bring your arms all the way up to a V and squeeze and release. And then bring your arms down into that A and squeeze and release. You're reaching your hands back behind you. And last one, bring it all the way here. And then we're just going to take one ear over to the shoulder. And you're going to take the opposite hand, press away, and lift that hand up and flex down. So just up and down. 4, and we're going to do one more. Good. So now we're going to place that hand on our thigh. We're going to bring our head back up, center, and then take the ear over to the shoulder. Take that hand down, flex, and then we'll go up and down with that hand. And we're going to do one more. And last one. We're going to bring it back up to center. You're going to take your fingertips, just place them at the back of your skull, pull your elbows towards each other. And without using any pressure from those fingers, you're just going to add a little slight pressure, but not a lot. Draw your elbows into that, down towards your thighs or your belly button into a C back. So you're in a C curve, your back is rounding. And just breathe here. You're not pulling on your neck. You're just pulling the elbows together to open the shoulder blades apart. If you can touch the elbows, touch them together. If they're not touching, just imagine they are. And then just stack your vertebrae one at a time to bring yourself back up tall. And bring your hands down. So now we're going to switch our legs. So the foot that's in front, take it behind. And we're going to take that ear over to the shoulder again. This hand's going to come out, and you're going to point up, flex down, point up, flex down, point up, flex down, point up, flex down. And we're going to do one more. Good. So then we're going to bring our head back up to center. We're going to take that neck over, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to point up with the hand, flex down, bring it up and down. And we're going to do one more. And last one. And we're going to bring our head back up to center. We're going to take those fingers again behind the skull, bring the elbows in, and round your back into a C curve. So your back is rounded into a C. Draw your navel to your spine. Imagine your elbows are reaching all the way to your navel. No stress in your neck. You're not pulling on your neck. You're just rounded into a C, drawing those elbows together to open up the back of the shoulders. And then stack one vertebra at a time all the way up. And bring the arms down. So now we're going to use our balls or our socks again. We're going to have our pillows or our towel or our roller away from us. You can take the socks or the balls, and we're going to position ourselves on the ground. And I want you to position the balls or the socks right here on either side of your sacrum. So your sacrum is that triangular bone right here that is right at the top of your buttocks crack and is a flat bone that's right there. I want you to position the balls right there on your pelvis. So you'll feel your hard pelvic bone. So you can take your fingers and feel there. You're just going to position the balls or the socks right there. If you have a towel, if you have a roller, if you have a pillow, you might want to position that so that it is underneath your head. It's just to help your neck remain long. You're going to take your balls and put them underneath your hips. So just right there, underneath, just on either side of your sacrum, just right on the pelvis. I shouldn't have said the hips, but right on the pelvis. Okay, and then you're just going to press down into the balls or either the socks and then release. So you're going to press downward and then you're going to release and press downward and then release. And do that one more time. Press downward and then release. And then you're just going to rock your pelvis side to side. So you're just going to rock side to side. And if your balls start walking away from you, it's okay. You're just walking over those muscles. And then you're going to do hula hoops. So you're going to do hula hoops with your hips. So you're going to go in a circle in one direction with your hips. And then you're going to circle in the other direction with your hips. And you can reposition your balls if you need to. So I'm going to reposition my balls. I'm just going to lift my pelvis up and put my balls back more towards the center because they walk down a little bit. I'm going to bring one knee up and just hug it in. And then I'll take the other leg and just reach it out. And then we'll place that bent knee. That foot's going to go back to the ground. The other leg's going to walk up. I'm going to hug that knee in. And I'm going to reach the other leg out. And then I'm going to place that foot back down on the ground. And this leg's going to come up. Then I'm going to keep the balls right there. I'm going to take that leg that I pulled the knee in first with. I'm going to take it up and I'm going to do little tiny circles on the sky with my toes. So if your leg doesn't extend, you can bend the knee and draw tiny little circles here. It's up to you. You listen to your body and pay attention to how it feels. And then I'm going to go in the other direction. Eight, and we're going to do two more, 9, and we're going to do one more, and 10. And then I'm going to place that foot down. I'm going to take the other leg up, and I'm going to do tiny little circles from the hip, not from the ankle, but from the hip. Remember, if your knee doesn't want to extend, if that's too much on your low back or your hamstrings, you could bend your knee. 8, 9, and I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to go the other way. And last one, I'll put that foot down. And then I'm just going to rock my hips side to side one more time. And then I'm going to move the balls away, or either the socks, and lie my hips all the way down. Okay, so I want you to stay where you are and just turn your face to the side and watch me. But I'm going to show you where we're going to position the balls with our shoulder blades. So I'm going to sit up, but I want you to stay down so that you don't move. We're going to take our balls and put them right on the inside edges of our shoulder blades. We don't want the balls on our spine. We want them off to the side of the spine. So always make sure that you don't put them right directly on the spine, off to the side. And we're just going to position them to either side of the shoulder blades on the inside edges, okay? So you're just going to position the ball underneath your shoulder blades. Oops, I just lost one. And at first, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I don't know, or you may say that. I don't know if I like the way this feels, but just allow yourself to get used to it. Make sure that the balls are not in the center of the spine. They're on either side of your shoulder blades. Your feet are just flat on the ground. Take your arms up, and you're going to open your arms out and together. And as you open your arms out and together, you'll feel those muscles on the inside of the shoulder blades, the rhomboids, being massaged by the balls. And then you're going to bring your arms up, your hands are over your shoulders, and draw little circles. And then we're going to circle in the other direction. So you can really see the sun streaming into my office here, can't you? 9, and let's do one more. And then we're going to take our arms down into the A. Remember the A we did before, where we're reaching our hands out to the side, and then we're going to go up into a V, and then we're going to go down into our A, and we're going to go up into a V, and down into our A, and up into a V, and down into the A, and up into the V. And we're going to do that one more time, and up into the V. And then we'll put our hands down by our side, and we're just going to push ourselves with our feet. We're going to just push ourselves forward and back. So you can see I'm just rocking forward and back, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then we go side to side. So I'm just going to wiggle my shoulders side to side. And then I'm going to press both shoulders down into the balls and release. And press both shoulders down and release, and press down and release. Then I'm just going to roll over to one side, move one of the balls, roll over to the other side, move the other ball. And I'm just going to rest here for just a moment. And then let's roll over onto our side and push ourselves up. And we're going to bring ourselves into a kneeling position again. We're going to do cat and cow. So as you do your cat and cow, remember, spread your shoulder blades apart. And then imagine your shoulder blades are sliding together to bring you to that cow back, and spread apart. And slide together to bring you to the cow. Then we're going to step forward with one foot and place your hands on your thighs and bring yourself all the way up. And we're going to go back to our original position with our feet down on the ground, just planted firmly. Close your eyes gently and rock yourself forward and back. Remember, if you need to open your eyes to do this, you can. And then just shift your weight from side to side. And then bring it back to center. And then let's do that forward fold. Let's round our back into a forward fold and bend your knees. I'm going to turn to the side as we do this so you can see that I have a C curve in my back. Close your eyes gently if you can and pay attention to where your body is. And if you can remember where we were when we did our first rounded back forward fold this morning, take your mind back to that and see how your body feels compared to that. And then just alternate open in the back of the knees. So just one leg at a time, opens and closes. And then just round yourself back up. And just come to a nice comfortable standing position. I'm going to turn back to the front. And then with your eyes closed, think about the bottoms of your feet and how the bottoms of your feet feel. And if you can remember how your feet felt when we first got started in our session today, take your mind back to that and compare how your body feels now. And then compare your ankle joints one to the other. Just let your attention just glide up to your calves and feel how your calves feel. And if you can remember how they felt when we first got started, just compare how your calves feel now to how your calves felt then. I know my left calf was super duper tight, very contracted. My left knee was very closed. So you just compare your knees one to the other. If you can remember how you felt when we first got started, go back to that memory. If you can't remember, it's okay. It is not a big deal. Just compare your knees side to side now and how they feel, if they feel different, if they feel similar. And then bring your attention up to your thighs and the front of your thighs, how they feel, in the back of your thighs, how they feel. Compare each to each other, the right to left, left to right. And then bring your attention to your hips, your gluteal muscles, your buttocks, and compare how your buttocks feel. And then bring your attention to your low back and compare side to side how your low back feels. Is there tightness? Is there pain? And if you can remember how your back felt when we first got started, take your comparison all the way back to when we first got started. If you can't remember, it is not a big deal. Just compare how your body feels side to side now instead of doing the before and after comparison. Over time, as we go through these comparisons, as you practice the comparisons, you'll be able to remember and recall how your body felt a little more easily, a little more readily. And then let's bring our hands together in thankfulness. And so your thumb knuckle finds your heart muscle. Close your eyes gently. And just take a moment of thankfulness for the time that you gave yourself today to nurture your body, to nurture your mind and body connection, to really focus on your body's energy pathways and increasing and improving your energy and the energy flow in your body. And then also, as we always do at the end of one of our mind body sessions, our body rejuvenate or our body shot sessions, take a moment to give thanks for your body, this wonderful gift that you've been given, this vessel that we live in that houses us and allows us to move through our world and enjoy all of our blessings. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you for doing Body Rejuvenate with me.